If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's.
Over the years, I mastered the art of ticking boxes, assuming identities, and jumping through whatever hoops societal expectations told me to. It was easy. It was as if I was an undercover secret agent and no one could tell. Then I decided to quit my unfulfilling corporate job to, well, find myself.
Where the heck do I look? Is following your dreams and finding your authentic self meant to be this hard? Well, yes and no. Let me explain. Michelangelo was one of the most well-known men in the Renaissance, and there's this historical anecdote about him that I quite like. He was carving David, his most well-known sculpture, and his friend came over and he was so impressed, he said, "Wow, this is so impressive, that must have been so hard to carve." And Michelangelo responded, "Well, actually, no, you just take a stone and you carve out everything that isn't David." And that really resonated with me because it reminded me of when I was nearing 30 and I did everything that I was supposed to do. I went to uni, I got a job, but I still felt so empty and unhappy. And I started being fixated on this idea of finding my life purpose and my identity and my meaning, but I just couldn't. And that left me feeling even more frustrated, even more lonely, until I just completely gave up on that idea. And instead I started unlearning everything that I was taught is my identity, but it wasn't. So it turned out to be all those things that the society conditioned me to believe. I learned that I am not my body, that I am not my face, I'm not my CV or my job description. And that only allowed me to start figuring out who I was beneath all of that. The idea to define ourselves through these external labels did not come from vacuum. It was often drilled into us since we were kids, like study or you'll be a nobody, smile, look prettier or nobody will love you. And giving up on these labels and the definition of who we thought we were supposed to be is quite hard. But also it doesn't mean that now you can't care about how you look or your career. And here there is this concept that I learned in yoga teacher training that I find extremely helpful. I learned that in yoga you master your body and your mind, but you learn that you are not your body and your mind. So in a way, you can care about something, get better at it, but still choose not to be defined by it. So if you don't know who you are outside of these labels, you don't need to be stressed about it. I like to think of it as cleaning up your flat. You remove the things that are gathering dust, things that are broken, things that you no longer use, that you no longer need. And you don't need to know what you will put in place of those things, but you just make room for something should you ever find the something that you want to keep in your house. So unlearning who I thought I was the first step on my self-discovery journey. A very difficult one, but definitely an important one. There is this quote that makes rounds on social media: "What is yours will find you." And I think it follows this logic that once you find your thing, life gets easy and you are happy all the time. And this is definitely what I thought it was going to happen to me. I thought I'm going to quit my corporate job and follow my passion, and things will magically fall into place and I will be happy and it will be smooth sailing. But to be honest with you, that wasn't the case. If anything, it was the opposite. I think whatever you choose to do in life, you need to back it up with hard work, with determination. And no matter what, the beginnings will be humbling and they will make you doubt yourself. At this point, I've given up on both YouTube and yoga so many times, I can't even tell you. But so far, each time I gave up, I gave myself a little break and I rolled up my sleeve and I said, okay, let's go again. I think it's a bit like sailing. You need to be okay with the fact that you will lose the sight of land for a very long time. And you need to trust that there is land on the other side to wherever you are sailing, even though you can't see anything for days. But you just need to keep on rowing. And same in life, you need to trust the process. You need to trust in yourself. And just keep working, even though you sometimes can't see results for a very long time. So, if you find yourself in a similar situation to me, my advice would be do the work, trust in yourself, trust in some form of higher power, be it God or the universe, however you want to call it. You need to trust that doing your best and following your values, your instincts, will lead to beautiful things. As you walk on the way appears. Clarity doesn't come before action, it comes from action. So yeah, that would be my best advice. Society is structured to distract people from the decisions that have huge impact on happiness in order to focus attention on the decisions that have marginal impact on happiness. I think the reason why it took me so long to quit the job that was making me really unhappy was because I was distracted. I was unhappy, so I kept on buying new shiny things I didn't need. And that made me feel like I need to keep grinding. I need to keep climbing the ladder. And obviously, social media facilitates this social comparison and mindless consumerism. And that makes it so hard to quit a well-established career or a well-paying job to do something less popular and less financially rewarding. But still, I feel like I was prepared for that part. I was prepared for the salary cut. I saved up money. What I wasn't prepared for was how people's perception of me changed based on what I do. Like, I would tell people that I'm a beginner yoga teacher, I'm trying to be a content creator, and suddenly I got this look, you're just another silly influencer wannabe that nobody asked for. And I knew this isn't really who I am, but it still hurt my ego so much. It hurt that people were trying to decide if I'm worthy of their time based on what I was doing. I feel like LinkedIn is one of those rare places where people brag about their exes, like I'm ex-Google, ex-Meta. Anyway, sorry for the rant. I feel like it's an important part of my journey to be more and more immune to both positive and negative reactions that I'm getting to what I'm doing. People will judge you, misjudge you, or even applaud you for all the wrong reasons, but that shouldn't keep you running in a race that isn't yours. That shouldn't keep you stuck in a place that isn't giving you happiness. But I feel like that once you tap into that feeling of doing something truly aligned with your values and your purpose, all of that pales into insignificance. The judgment, the cloud, the approval, disapproval, all that matters is just doing your thing. And I know it takes courage to stay on your path, especially when no one is clapping for you, but do it anyway. Do it for yourself. It probably doesn't mean a lot coming from a random stranger online, but I am clapping for you. I'm rooting for you. So go on and do that thing. Life is not something to be conquered or mastered. It's something to be explored and experienced. And I have to keep reminding myself of that, especially when I think of my life as this complex competition that I'm losing, even though I'm the one who made up all the rules. Life is not a race, never has been. You don't need to have anything figured out by 20, 30, 40 or 50. Figuring things out is all that we have. It's a forever game. And once I've accepted that, things started to feel a bit less heavy, a bit more fun. And once I learned to trust the process, I also realized that sometimes the possibility to start everything from scratch is the best thing that can happen, because when nothing is decided, everything is possible.